we've been able to kick off this trial, and everything's gone completely according to plan so far.
So how advanced is it?
So we've commenced dosing the first group yesterday. So this is the phase 1 trial, so the first time this vaccine's been given to people. And we started with the first 6 volunteers yesterday, and we hope to dose the rest of the cohort in both our Brisbane and our Melbourne sites in the coming weeks.
So that's phase 1. How many phases are there?
So phase 1 is the one we've just started now. We follow that up fairly quickly with phase 2, and then there's phase 3, which is a much bigger trial before the vaccine's likely to be released. And what we're doing with these vaccines is trying to progress through those phases as quickly as possible, given the situation we're under at the moment. And so, as you heard, that hopefully Novavax will have a lot of doses available by the end of the year if all those trials go according to plan.
So is this a COVID-19 cure?
It's a vaccine for COVID-19, that's right. So it's designed, like all vaccines, to prevent the infection, which is what we really need to get control of this pandemic.
So all things go well, this will be out on the market by the end of this year?
I think that might be overreaching a little bit. Novavax have scaled up their production, so they're able to produce 100 million doses by the end of the year, and how that's rolled out will really depend on the situation at the time. I would like to think, and I won't be involved directly in that part, but I'd like to think that how the vaccine's rolled out will be done on a priority basis. So it might be given first to certain countries or certain populations within those countries that are most at risk or suffering the greatest burden at that time. So it won't be widely available by then, but will certainly be fairly close.
What is the vaccine? Can you explain how it works?
Absolutely. So it's a protein-based vaccine. So basically something that's normally on the surface of the virus, the so-called S or spike protein, has been manufactured in a laboratory and then assembled into a small particle that we can then inject. So there's no live or actual virus involved in this. It's just the surface part that is responsible for how the virus gets in. And so when we give this vaccine, we hope people will generate antibodies and a protective immune response that will then stop them being able to get infected.
There are, hundreds, thousands of scientists who are working around the world, Doctor, on a potential vaccine. And we hear all the time about breakthroughs and how things might well be going, trials in the US, trials in Europe, trials in Australia. For the people at home, it might be a bit confusing about what is what. So how different is this potential vaccine to others?
So the main ones we've heard about have been a very different platform. So the first one, the Moderna vaccine, was an mRNA vaccine, and the group in Oxford is a viral vector-based vaccine. This is a protein or a subunit-based vaccine, which is a very well recognised platform. There are a lot of vaccines that we use every day, so HPV and Hep B, for example, that are based on this same technology. And Novavax, the company that have manufactured this, have a long history of making vaccines. So we've worked with them on their Ebola and flu and RSV vaccines. So because it's based on an existing technology with a proven track record, I'm very optimistic that this one will be pretty good.
Okay, well, I was going to ask you about that. How confident are you? Hopefully it would be your vaccine, and, if it's not yours, then hopefully someone else. But, there's a lot of health authorities out there who are sceptical, and even New South Wales Health Minister said the other day he can't be certain that there will ever be a vaccine for COVID-19. So how sure are you that there will eventually be a vaccine for COVID-19?
Yeah, well, we can't be certain until all the trials are complete. That's very clear. Well, what we can say is that to start a human trial, we need great data to get to this point. So we need to be completely confident that it's likely to be safe and effective before we'd even take it to human trials. So we have that data for this vaccine. The data was very impressive and completely supported moving to these human trials. We do need to move through each of these trials and individually assess the data that arises from them before we go to the next one. And we certainly can't guarantee anything till the trials are complete. That's why we have these 3 phases of trials. But as I say, the data to get to this point couldn't be more supportive. So we're cautiously optimistic, but we'll assess the data objectively. And if it supports it, we'll progress to the next phase.